Yeah. Mhm. Did you put last month's meeting minutes in here? Yes. Better I'm missing.
So you want them? Have one of the girls print them and bring down. To go over.
Not in the packet either. I didn't need them.
Okay.
All right, it's 8 o'clock. I'll call the meeting in order. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Seen them yet.
You want to postpone it?
I just, you wanna do it till next meeting or you want me to get them and bring them down?
You guys.
You want them pulled on the screen? Comfortable reading them off the screen?
Have one, of the girls bring copies down.
What's everybody else think? Kurt? We're doing it. I'm sorry.
Next month, postpone something.
Postpone till next month. Okay, next, is there any public comment?
Actually, I think we might need a motion on that to postpone to next month. To do it correctly.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on it? You're not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Next, you have public comment. Is there any public comment?
I just wanted to speak a little bit about the highway equipment policy that's on the agenda. For forestry, we've been moving highway skid steer with our mower, the mow trails in the past. In recent years, highway department has run that for us because we don't have someone to haul it. At this point, we do have someone with a CDL, so we could potentially pay basically the rental equipment rate on the skid steer. Get more done that way. If highway department runs the machine for us, then we're paying for their workers' hours as well as their truck and everything like that. I understand the concerns and I see both sides of it. It works well when highway runs it for us. Hope you keep it in mind that we get a little bit more done on my end if we run it for ourselves. Apart from the mowing, we do little repairs sometimes in the campground parks with a load of gravel here or there. Dock removal, which had highway worker helping us with dock removal the last couple of years, I would say. Like I said, it works well both ways. It's a little more efficient for us to run our stuff. Whichever way that goes is gonna work out. I just wanted to make that comment that I hope forestry can run that, at least that skid steer when like past when we have run it, we work with highway guys and plan out a week or a day here or there and it works well. They're not waste any more of your time.
Good.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Any other public comment?
I guess I'm just asking, we rent the county pit up there and we're having bear issues, just asking if we can get traps in there to relocate the bear. Well, there's the no hunt, no trap policy up there. We can get the APHIS in there to trap the bear and get them moved, it would sure help us.
It's on the agenda. Any other public comment? Then we'll move on to discussion of possible motion, general business. Approval of driveway permit, County Road J.
Down there. Just north of the dam road there. He's got a house at the resident, he's also got a shop there. He'd like to have a second driveway on this property. Fairly big chunk of property. To easily access his shop instead of on his house driveway, he wants to add a driveway. Currently where he's got it positioned is at about 220 feet away. as I went out there, it would work, but it would be safer if we went 200 feet because of the slight hill there with the visibility concerns. I sat there, shoulder and watched his vehicles come by, and if we 20 feet at 200 feet, it'd be a better visibility if we improved the thread. 300 feet, you got nothing. You got wherever the hill crest is at 300 feet, it ain't gonna happen.
You don't see an issue with it?
Not at 200 feet. 200 feet would be what I would recommend. Better at 220, but 200 would be better.
Anything in here on that, Justin? No?
No, it's just the permit, and I can show you the property picture here if you want to see it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yep.
To be an additional.
Additional.
More of a safety concern too, because of being big trucks and trailers in there.
Yeah.
Because we don't want really backing off the highways, because that's.
Yeah, you can almost do. This through. Like, yeah, I'll take one. I guess.
Existing driveway is right by the County G sign. Second driveway would be right there.
It's good. I think it's good.
Motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second. Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Approval driveway permit for County Road D.
This permit is at the Flambeau Lodges there right on D. The 27. This is where they have the events going on. They park on the road at times. This driveway is very close. It'd be more or less a parking lot driveway to keep the vehicles off the road and to absorb the overflow of vehicles. I think it's like 80 feet. It's not far, but it's basically joining the one parking lot. It's gonna keep cars off the shoulder of the roadway. Just. Yeah, it's for the Flambeau Lodges there. I think you guys should be familiar.
The speed limit's lower.
45. Yep.
So he's got the driveway right there by the main north building, whatever you wanna call it. So it's gonna go up to the north and then parking lot's gonna be to the east.
West. To the west.
West of the main event building.
Yep. And he owns that piece chunk of property, so they're on two different parcels, if that makes any difference, but so the parcel to the west is where he wants to propose this parking lot.
And there's no way for him to tie that into the current one he's using now. I'm just getting seems like we're giving a lot of driveways out here that. That's 100 feet.
Being there's a house on the northern part of the property, he might have to divide it. I don't know if that, where zoning would allow the division of that. Make it the same parcel. I'll show you what it's in.
I think I know what you're talking about, maybe somebody else, but I mean, you're talking, I know how that's set up there.
Okay.
That's us in development. That was his there too. I just didn't see who owned what. Already a couple.
Better than
years
having
ago.
them park on the road.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right there anyway.
I'm just asking, could it be current one he has now be used? Parking?
I can certainly discuss that with him and we can bring it back next month if that's what the way we want to go about it.
I'm just asking the question. If it can't be used because it's too, like the resort and that garage or whatever he's got back there are too close, then there's no way to do that to the west. Being it's to the west, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. Basically, he's gonna have to join either way. He's gonna have to either join the properties or, because he owns both, he's gonna have to share the properties with the driveway or the parking lot, essentially, is how that's gonna work. It's a possibility to try and get him to do that before he does the driveway or the parking lot. That's, if you guys wanna go that way.
A lot of them driveways are only like 80 feet apart anyway, all the way down that road.
It's all stacked up down there, yeah.
One house after another. There'll be more that I'm sure we'll be putting in as that develops.
Yeah, there's a lot of sections out there.
Now that I know it's to the west, I don't have as much. I'll make the motion to approve.
Here, no, say aye. Opposed, carries. We have land rentals, Scott Pitt.
And so a copy of the rental lease up at Scott Pit. They're having issues with the bear getting in there and destroying their crop. What poses the issue is it's not huntable. And there is a wildlife abandonment and claims program that you just sign up for and go through the process, but then it opens it up to public hunting. Nothing you do about that. The program is either you public hunting through the program, or if the county opens it up for trapping or hunting, it's open to the public. But then we pose the issue of potentially, it doesn't mean somebody will go in there and start hunting while they're leasing.
Say that again. If you have the feds come in and trap it, then you have to allow people to hunt it?
Yeah, is this in your guys' packet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in here. About as clear as mud, but yeah, there's a lot of paper in here in this one.
Yeah, once you start letting them trap.
We trap bears out of the city, and then we don't let people hunt in the city. Not often, but we have many times in the past. We let them hunt. The feds have come in and trapped them off of Corbett Lake.
So second page in section 6, abandonment eligibility. Allow public hunting during open season for species requesting abandonment or claims assistance. Step right up to that.
We're into section 6 of this paperwork.
3.
Or section 3. Oh,
That's right.
Oh, page 2, section 6, line 3.
oh, okay. That's good. Done.
Which, that's the DNR getting trap, right?
Right, but then it opens up for public hunting. So I mean,
Just for
that doesn't
traffic.
mean,
Okay, so are you getting, just if they're trapped, we open it to public?
whether it's trapping,
Me, like if they receive compensation.
Hey, guys, if I may, this is Seth Zestiger with Wildlife Services. I am the Damage Program Administrator for Rusk, Sawyer, and Chippewa counties. Just wanted to let you know I am online if you have any specific questions.
Well, I just threw one out there. If you heard it, Seth, I'm looking for an answer.
You got anything specific you want to ask? I'm here for you.
So if a person isn't receiving compensation, can they still trap the bear out of there without opening it to public hunting?
Regardless of if compensation is received or not, since this program is funded by hunting license sales, it has to be open to the public for bear hunting. That can occur under one of 2 mechanisms. The one that Mike and Dan typically enroll their properties in for is called managed hunting access, whereas the number of hunters that are allowed to hunt the property can be limited to 2 hunters per 40 acres of suitable bear hunting habitat. The other one is open hunting access, where there's no cap. With the managed hunting access, any hunters that show up to hunt the property have to sign in and out of a logbook that is maintained by Dan and Mike, so they know who and how many people are on the property and when.
Well, just so everybody's aware of this, the reason we had no hunting on there is because of our MSHA laws. Because we can't have people in the pit. So that's when we put that into the lease where there's no hunting because somebody goes in there and gets into the pit hunting all under MSHA. I don't know how we would regulate it. It opens
I'm
up
not-
all.
I'm
Yeah, go
sorry to
ahead.
interject here. I'm not sure, you know, how you could regulate that. You can certainly exclude portions of the property in a scenario like this. There's language and statute and code for doing so in livestock holding areas. But, you know, without somebody being there to verify that nobody actually does wander into the pit, you know, somebody might take their own initiative to do that. However, I don't know how recent this is because when Dale Beisel used to lease the property from the county, we were in there trapping. This is maybe, I don't know, 8 years ago. Several years in a row, we were in there trapping and relocating bears. And so at that point, the property was open to the public for hunting through that managed hunting access program. So I don't know if that stuff has changed since then. I just wanted to bring that to your attention that historically we had been in there. That property was in the program.
That's some hunting park. Yeah. Somewhere in there, because it was becoming a problem.
You just think we should do with it? You having a major bear issue though?
Well, see, the problem this year versus last year, it's on the other side of the woods to the west there. What Potter runs, he had in corn last year and they could trap on the backside of that. But he has it in beans this year, so yeah, we've got, we get all the bear this year because Potter's got it in beans. And we can't trap, you know, last year when Jeff could trap on the backside of that, that helped immensely.
And so Seth, you're saying that it would have to be open for the entire bear hunting season, even if you only go in and trap for a couple weeks, whatever, if you do the program, that opens us up.
Correct.
Problem with bear hunting is
They're gonna go,
there's dogs
you're gonna go, they go over.
and someone, no offense, but someone's not gonna follow the
So
chance.
I
someone-
can
or whatever.
I can answer the point about the dogs. The use of dogs is prohibited on properties where the likelihood of trespass is there, which would certainly be the case in this situation. Dogs aren't going to stay on 80 acres or whatever the county owns right there. In all likelihood, I don't know how heavily these properties that are enrolled in the damage program are accessed by the general public for hunting on their own bear license. I mean, by the time we got done beating on those fields with trapping and some get shot up with crop damage tags and the use of bait can be disallowed by the enrollee. You know, there's not a lot of incentive for people to come and hunt these. They're basically sitting over a cornfield watching a bear trail. So, you know, I don't know if Dan could speak to how many people they get coming to hunt on their own bear tags on their other properties that are in the program. I don't think it's very likely. However, there is no guarantee. I mean, if somebody shows up and wants to hunt the property, they have to be let in.
You know, as Seth said, feeding is prohibited, so you know, it is just kind of a, you're sitting on what you think is a bear trail, hoping for a bear to walk by, you know, so it's not a lot of guys really care to come and crop damage hunt. It's basically luck, you know, and with all the leaves and stuff on the trees, you don't see much. So, you know, I would say, like Seth said, chances are it probably won't have anybody wanting to hunt that, but, you know, as it stands, in the managed hunting, you can have it to 2 people per 40 acres. So, you know, that kind of deters having lots of people.
Is there any more discussion on it? Is there a motion to approve the wildlife damage abatement?
As a, so you as the leasing of the property would be the one that would manage the hunters that are coming in and out of it?
Yes, they would have to, we would have a logbook then set up for Scott Kit, and people would have to check in with us to get permission to go in.
Okay, so it'd be up to Justin to monitor that or something. It'd be up to you. Okay.
I think the main reason per Jerry did this was to keep him out of the pit. I think that would definitely have to be a stipulation. Because from a liability standpoint,
And that could certainly be indicated on the public hunting access maps that have to be posted onto the DNR's website, you know, that this is a restricted area, entry is prohibited. But again, you know, even with that being said, lots of hunters on the property, you know, they could wander in there. Why they would, I have zero idea. I mean, that's not where they're gonna shoot a bear.
so how long is this for, Seth? So let's just say next year the county needs to take 4 acres and add gravel pit, which to my knowledge, we have no plan of, but do we need, does that affect this at all going into next year? Or is strictly for this year, right?
Strictly for this year, the wildlife damage program is an annual enrollment.
Any more questions on it? We understand what we're seeing? Is there a motion to approve the wildlife damage abatement?
It's for the agricultural part of the land. I mean, you said you could put that in there just for the part that's under crop.
Yep.
It would be, I'm sorry, just to clarify, so it would be the part that's under crop and any timbered property associated with that. You know, we could exclude them from the pit itself, but if there's huntable acreage surrounding that, the general public is supposed to be allowed to hunt that.
What he said.
Yep. Made that in the motion?
Yes.
There's a second? Alex second. Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carries. Seth, you'll get that lined up with Dan?
Yep, I'll contact Dan and or Mike here within this week at some point, and we'll get that all squared away.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the highway department equipment policy. Everybody get a chance to read it? Which it comes to Jared's concerns with use of the skid loader, but I think,
Authorized handwriting. Yeah.
yeah, you can authorize them just to use the skid loader, but what it comes down to is some of our specialty equipment like the Fecon. Some of this equipment we just don't want going out because it takes an experienced operator to know how it works, and
I do like the otherwise authorized and rating section, though. I mean, underline that because
Yeah.
at least if you do have somebody that trust and can run it, then there's exceptions for it.
So you guys do special training on those types of equipment, or do we need to, say forestry has a couple individuals that they want to be able to run that skid loader and you're okay with them doing that? Do you have some type of training that they could sit through?
We usually do hands-on with the employee over time. We do the initial training, how to operate the machinery. And then from there, you basically have somebody watching over your shoulder to make sure you know what you're doing and operating the equipment. And then from there, over time, they learn about how this equipment works with people around them, not just by themselves. As far as like, say forestry, they got their own mower, so they don't need the Fecon. So I wouldn't hurt to do a run through with them. I mean, they probably know how to run a machine, but it still wouldn't hurt to have it off of our shoulders. That way they know what they're doing. And if push comes to shove, they knew how to run the machine. And that's fine.
I mean, that would cover you in here that they had some specialized training. None of those individuals that had that type of training without putting a whole bunch up on your back, unless you want the safety guy to do it. You've got a program that can.
We don't have superintendent, so sharing the safety guy with another individual.
No, the person we have hired to do contract safety work.
Oh, Dustin, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
the reason I brought this up is, the skid loader and then the Fecon was going out and something got wrecked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's why
It was going out to other places other than forestry?
well, just forestry, basically, I think.
Maintenance.
Maintenance using it too. I think,
So maintenance needs some training here too. We got more than one here that might need additional training.
That's what we want to do.
If we open it up to one department, we can't.
well,
Sounds like we gotta open it up to.
Right.
but this is going through Justin, so he can authorize. No, he's authorizing who can run it and who can't, and which attachment they can take.
Right. I'm trying to make it easier for him by saying that if they don't have the proper training, he can say, you have to attend some proper training and prove to him that
Yeah, so
they can do it, but maybe there's not any specific training that's able to do it other than hands-on.
yeah, I mean, throwing them in the machine, I mean, you guys, majority of the people who run a machine, you can run a machine, but when it comes to whether it's a Fecon or other specialty items, it takes time to learn that stuff. You don't just hop in and say, I'm doing this. It takes oversight and a little bit of pointers here or there. Wherever we go from here, if we're gonna let forestry use it, that's fine, but we got to, it's hard to let one department use it and then not another. From here, as far as the training point, it's hard to go through the actual training with all the attachments and whatnot. As far as running the machine, like forestry does have their own mower.
Or for
Trimming
the skid
their
steer.
trails, trimming their
Or
trails.
attaching to the skid steer though, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not a Fecon, it's just a 2-blade mower. I think it's 6 foot, the dimensions are 6 foot.
I'm fine with whatever. I just want him to, I want to.
Well, exceptions may be made for the highway department machinery to be used in support of other departments. So it's It's giving Justin a little more authority on what he's letting them use. Just, you know, we don't want a $35,000 head going out and coming back. All right.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So 105.
10 grand. The way I'm reading it right now, it says. I missed something here. It's saying be ran by highway department personnel. I missed the part that he can give authority.
Exceptions may be made for highway.
Good.
A lot of things too is we have other departments going out, and something breaks on it, still sending our maintenance staff out to fix it. Mhm.
Or if they get it stuck or.
Right. Which they would get billed for that anyways, wouldn't they?
Correct.
Anybody see anything in the policy they want to change? Their
It,
motion.
it still says though, it can be in thick today, but exceptions may be made, but only when operated by authorized highway department personnel.
Right, yeah, if we want to allow forestry run the skid steer, we'll have to rewrite this.
Yeah, it's not saying that he can just authorize someone else to run it.
Doesn't that last line that says why is authorized in writing? Only highway department employees may operate the machinery unless otherwise authorized in writing. I mean, the last line,
Yeah, that would give
I
you.
mean, so it's harsh, so you have to tell one department, no, you don't have an operator who's experienced enough to run this. But if somebody is experienced enough to run it, I mean, I think the county department should try to work together the best they can. And I'm not saying you let them wreck your $30,000 piece of equipment, but I mean, if someone's, you know, there's operators out there that are just as good as the next guy, you know, and there's some that aren't, but I think it should be a case by case basis to try to generally save departments money, all, you know, I mean, to work together and save some money.
Who's gonna do the authorization of this?
Not just-
But it's not specific in here.
Justin should be the one, he's the one, ultimately, he's responsible for the equipment, I would say.
And so should we add that?
At the discretion.
Yeah, unless otherwise authorized. Commissioner?
Cause then he would know if they're properly trained on it.
I just don't want them, you know, any supervisor or foreman
Understood.
signing off is my thought behind it.
Do you want to add that to it, Justin? Authorize in writing, the highway commissioner? Cause then you would be authorizing somebody else to.
Then I'm good with it. Somebody else got something to add.
I'm just saying it quick that this is pretty common practice at all highway departments. I've worked in multiple highway departments, so highway typically everywhere I've worked, it's been 97, 98%. We're running the equipment, just like you guys were talking about, you know, so we built up the trust with a few departments too, kind of similar to your, you know, forestry here with our parks, where we had a few guys that were really experienced and CDLs and all that. Over the course of 2 years of getting the trust built up, that they actually had the skills and had some little bit of training. Occasionally we'd let a loader or a truck or something like that go to let them use it for a project, but it was probably 98% of the time we're running it ourselves. The common we have here.
Yeah.
Well, and I just,
Highway worker would actually be cheaper to operate than a forester. It'd be cheap. I mean, when you sit there and think of the wage part, forester makes a lot more money than a highway worker. It'd be cheaper to have us run it than sticking one of their foresters in it.
Other than they're charging state rate, which is more than what the workers get paid.
The rate don't, the hourly rate don't change. It's just the state rate the state sets for equipment.
Yeah, the equipment rate's gonna be the same no matter what.
Yep. And then you're just paying just straight up employee wages, not.
Right.
Yeah. Actual costs for their labor and hours plus fringe benefits.
If forestry's running, they're doing the same thing. The wages are coming from somewhere. Any more discussion on it?
Just one point of clarification, there is no policy right now. Is that,
Not that we have found or
That's no,
so how do you do it now?
they ask and it's available, the machine's broke down or we're using it.
So if another department took it and damaged it, are they responsible for it?
They're supposed to be responsible for it as long as it's caught and known about.
it's more of the accountability. Now we got a policy, we know where it's going, we know what's gonna happen. I mean, making, we can hold them more to this policy. So if something does happen, we have a little more room to make sure everything's getting fixed again.
We also had a sign out sheet too, or hey, this is what we have. That way if someone on shift is looking for it and doesn't know where it's at, write the sheet.
Any more discussion on it? Is there a motion to approve the policy with changes?
I'll make the motion for the policy with changes.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Carried. UW weather monitoring. Does it have to do with the cameras things we got?
No, this is different. Cameras just you a temp and a visualization of what's going on. What this does and the purpose there is to help better understand localized weather patterns, weather awareness, ability to make weather-wise decisions for growing, whether it's commercial or residential. Potential to keep people safe and make appropriate decisions when hazardous weather is approaching. Measures wind speed, leaf wetness, soil moisture and temperature, 2-inch, 4-inch, 8-inch, 20 inches, and 40 inches. Also solar radiation, temperature, humidity, and rainfall. These numbers will be posted to the county website every 5 minutes. UW plans to have 90 or more across the state, eventually within 30 miles of each other. Right now, there are 14 and installing more. The tower gives 5-minute updates, including temperature, wind, humidity, wind, speed and direction, and barometric pressure with liquid precipitation. This better helps understand the microclimates that each area undergoes. Wisconsin's current weather monitoring system is minimal. This is no cost to the county. The only thing the county needs to let them do is put this on their property. They will take care of the equipment, they will monitor it, and they will check it.
There a specific part of the county they're more interested in? I mean, maybe we got the Blue Hill.
Yeah, it's gonna be in the Blue Hills. So I imagine with them wanting to add more and wanting to be within 30 miles apart of each other, this is just the first one to help. I would imagine maybe 4 corners of the county they're gonna look at. But right now it's up. It's gonna go up on County O and F.
This map was.
Yes, yep.
How tall is it? That road there?
How tall is it? I think it's like 15 or 20 feet.
Oh,
Not huge, just not like a radio tower. It might be 30 feet at the most.
okay.
It's just, they might have to trim some trees to be able to get what they need. That's about it.
County owned property, though, right?
That little corner there is county, a triangle is county owned.
More questions on it? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
Moved. I'll second it.
Seconded. Any more discussion?
If you guys just wanted, it's up to you. After this is done, just type in UW State Monitor, statewide weather monitoring. You can, there's like a 3-minute video on Google on a news channel where they talk more about it. Basically, where I got my information dealing with land conservation. But if you guys wanted to go watch that, I think it's a good watch.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Bridge program.
So the bridge program is open for applications. There's a lot of tweaking that's gonna be happening here with the way they through and determine what needs to be done with these bridges. They changed the way they rate these bridges. So if you take County B, south of Glen Flora, that's rated at 15 ton. The steel girders are bad. They got holes that they're rotted. I mean, that's why it's down to 15 tons. According to the state, that needs a thin polymer overlay. So there's a lot of things that still need to get kind of tweaked and worked out here. What I'm asking is for you guys to look at this list and maybe think about where we're gonna rank these. So when we input these for replacement or rehabilitation, we'll have a ranking on either the top 5 or 6, and then we can wait on the others. So if you look at the first one, County A, it does need some work. It is not derated. It does not have a tonnage rating on it yet. It needs some repairs coming up here. County B, that is at a 15 ton. County P, 30 ton. County Line Road in Marshall, that's I think that's 3 tubes. It's culverts. I think it's 3 culverts. There's no rating on that right now, derating, but there is some scouring going on with rust underneath the tubes. And Buck Lake Road, Town of Rusk. That one had just gotten the information a week or 2 ago from Willie, KBIS. That one's down to 15 ton. County D and Rice Creek, it's not derated. It does require some work, but it's not derated yet. Right of Way Road, Potato Creek, obviously needs work as well, but it's not derated. Well as Sentinel Ash, Becky Creek for Atlanta. It's not derated. The Josie Creek one, that is in the program. One is 100% funded.
That one's this year, ain't it?
Sure.
Didn't that one get replaced not that long ago?
Oh, it's in the program.
Okay.
They've been going through the public,
Road that got fixed. I'm thinking of that.
Yeah.
the pavement. County H, Clear Creek. That one is down to 25 ton. That is another county one. East Town Line Road. That's Flambeau. That is down to 35 ton. That is also on a dead end road. And then the Walrath Road at Bear Creek for Lawrence. That one is not derated, but it's in the program because it's going to require some work, or it's going to be derated soon. All these bridges are in a 12-month program. So what that means is they have to be inspected every 12 months because they're deficient. They got to monitor them so they can, if they're downhill, then what we want. So every year these things get an inspection.
What you're asking us is which ones we want to put in the program?
Yeah, just for you guys to think about it. If you don't want to do it right now.
County B one that down, the 2 that are down to 15 ton
So I can give you
into the program.
I can give you guys my ratings if you would like them. What I kind of ranked. So put County B as 1. Bucks Lake Road, that's at 15 ton, that's at 2. Number 3 was County H because it's at 25 ton. The guardrail's bad. That's where we got them concrete. I'm drawing a blank here. They're barriers, but Jersey barriers, the concrete Jersey barriers along the guardrail because the side of the concrete's so bad that you can't reattach guardrail. So if somebody were to hit it and they go off, well, the county's liable. So it's got Jersey barriers along it. Number 4 would be the 30-ton bridge on P. I think that one's kind of more getting higher priority considering the school is there. I mean, they're all important, but you got a school involved with that one. And then I went with, my fifth one would be, the East Town Line Road, Thornapple River, with 35 ton. It is a dead end road, but it's D-rated. So that's my top five.
What was number 3 again, Justin?
Number 3 would be H. We can certainly do 6, 7 of them. We gotta remember if we happen to get all of these in the program, it's 48 years before this gets done. And then when this happens, the County B is $1 million bridge, 80-20 match. So we gotta pay $100,000 out of our budget to, if we have 2 or 3 bridges in that year, may look up to $300,000-400,000 that we have to pay out of our budget to, on the others, the 20%.
Well, we should rank some more because it'd be easier to fund a bridge than we've seen what happens when we close a bridge.
No, that's fine. I just went with the primary ones that are already rated for a tonnage.
When we start closing bridges, that made a big issue.
And Sky, you can tell now, the billing should do that too. It takes time, doesn't it?
Oh, geez, yeah. So, the billing for the state bridges in the program, can last years, 2 to 3 years, even after the bridge is completed. They're still billing us. It's not a lot, but it's ridiculous how long it takes, to complete the project. The other thing is, the levy cost of these, is above the levy limit. So that's also helpful. So even if it is quite a bit, we want to keep it at a minimum because it does add to the taxpayers, but it does go over that levy limit.
Just know what happens when we close a bridge. That was not a good situation. So do you guys want to add more bridges into it? Or are you guys fine with the 5 he's got listed? Do we?
What's the story with Sentinel Ash Road? I guess that'd be one I would question, but it says such a low rating.
With the numbers all being a 4, that would probably, well, between that one and Marshall being its tubes, it's only got a 1 rating and that's a 4. Between those two, I would probably put those two next. There are only tubes, but it is classified as a bridge because of the span between them. So like Sentinel Ash, we could throw 6 on Sentinel Ash and then 7 on Marshall's tubes for County Line Road.
Well, and then I'm a little, I guess I need a little more explanation on the one you made number 5 here, Town Line Road, if it's a dead end road. And it's still at 35 ton. It's rated at 6. Should we put that one down farther?
We could go down. That's.
I mean, just basing it off a rating and I guess we have to base it off a rating and probably traffic, don't we?
That does play a factor. So you're still on that bridge there. So your superstructure and your substructure rating are at a 6. So the deck rating would be at a 4. So.
Okay.
That's what's on the top there. I probably should have went through that a little bit. So your deck rating.
It's the deck rating.
So when the Thornapple Bridge was out, that was so
Yep.
Long Meadow to online there. So we got a lot of traffic that way. But
Okay.
yeah, otherwise that road is it's going to a T or 4-way.
I mean, we can certainly put a 6 on that because it's a dead end road. I mean, that's why I brought this, so we can have discussion.
Which one would you want to put 5 then? Move that to 6.
Probably be good to do the Sentinel Ash then, which could be 5 because it's all 4s.
Which one I guess is important, County Line Road or Sentinel Ash?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
You close a bridge, it's.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we got culverts in now on county line, but like you said,
Just so like on that one that's on the dead end, somebody live at the far end of it?
No,
I didn't pull,
we're not damn.
So what happens when they close the bridge and you can't get out?
and they can't, yeah, they can, then you have to, the township and the county have to work together, to get a temporary bridge, like another county just north of us has got going on for some of their stuff, they get a temporary bridge put in place to allow traffic flow in and out. And I think, I don't, I can throw numbers out, but I don't know for sure. I know it's not cheap.
There's plenty of time for these even get.
Yeah, there's 48 years, you know, typically, you know, more, and you're more so looking at the 7, 8 year area.
That north of Round Mill Road, or is it the town line? Is it the one?
In Flambeau there.
Oh, that, the thorn apple, it's this little thorn apple.
East Online Road.
This is just basically our numbers to get them into the program.
Right, this is,
Our priority on what we've done.
I'll just throw out, there is, just so you guys can give it just the picture for the DOT right now, there is a little bit of confusion in the bridge program right now because, as Justin mentioned at the start there, the bridge inspections always led to a sufficiency rating. A sufficiency rating was what was used when you blow a certain number to qualify for the federal program. So when you went below a 50 sufficiency on the bridges, that's when you were eligible. That means you could apply. I mean, you're gonna get it, but that's when you can start applying in your bridges. This is the first cycle where they changed the program now, where they're not using a sufficiency number. They're using all the items within the inspection, but then they're coming out with an eligibility list for projects. And rank them and do all you want to do right now. Part of the problem is there's definitely confusion right now because the DOT came out with an eligibility list and several of your bridges that we thought probably would be on the eligibility list for replacement are not on there right now. And this has happened to a whole bunch of counties that actually were at that point with the sufficiency ratings where they should be. And we got bridges that are rated right now for 15, 20 tons. Well, shouldn't they be on the list for replacement? They're not on the DOT list. They're actually showing these little overlays on some of these bridges right now, not replacement in the program. So going through the process to rank them is good. Doing that right now. We're kind of waiting too for the DOT to come back yet because a lot of counties are kind of going back after them saying, wait a second. Now you're saying that we're not even on a list for replacing these structures now based on the new rankings right now. So we're gonna have to wait to get back on that a little bit too. So I think it's good to get in the process right now and rank what we have. And then we'll have to wait to find out back from the DOT because again, they kicked a whole bunch of bridges out that were, we think definitely some of these should have been on the replacement list. The only thing you can do if they're not on the list is you may have to go through another step actually to justify to the DOT why they should be replaced and try to get in the program. So again, it's important to get a list and get the ones that are priority for you. Because of the new program, the way it lays out right now, we're kicking a whole bunch of bridges out that would have been on the list probably for replacement. They're not on there now, including most of your bridges, even though they're showing that they're, not good condition based on the rankings. But so again, I don't really want to add confusion, but there is some confusion with the program right now. And just so you guys understand that, it's good to get a list going right now because we're kind of waiting to hear back from the DOT and the bridge inspectors as far as are some of these going to be eligible then for sure or not for replacement if we're going to go towards the bridge program. So, that again, don't want to confuse you, but it's kind of confusing right now in the whole program. And a lot of counties are dealing with that right now and trying to figure out what they can actually possibly apply for actually for the program.
that's why I mean,
Wrong side of 27, I found it.
okay, yeah, it's on the east side. That's why I made that mention about County B there with the steel girders, the I-beams they run underneath there and they got holes in them. I mean, there's holes in the steel, but according to the DOT's list, it's a thin polymer overlay on top. It doesn't do anything for us. So that's where the confusion comes in and they gotta get that figured out because they're probably not gonna extend the application process. So when they come through and with a new list, I have to try and hammer our structures.
You need a motion on this to approve rankings now, or
I don't think we need it now. If you guys want to take that with you, and I can put this on the agenda for next month so you can sit there and look at it too, and we
won't
can
know until they get their rankings to us, right?
correct. Yeah, so I think We'll put this back on.
To make everybody aware of what's going on with the bridge program. Is there any more discussion on it? We don't need a motion, so. Next we have the patch mix purchase.
So the plan on running, we're gonna have to purchase the patch mix. Typically, we make a winter mix, which is called SC 250. Easier work in the winter time. They do not offer that. Monarch, that is. They do SC 500 at 74.45 a ton. And then SC 800 at 76.15 a ton. We would do 500 tons each. And you'd be looking at 37,500 approximately for the SC 500. And 38,100 for 500 tons of SC 800. They do about 600 tons of load, so we probably do the 600 number. For the SC 800. From between the 500 and 600 tons, depends on what it makes. You'd be between the 38 number and you'd be about 46,000. Then for the one, you'd be at about the 32 number to 44.7. And we need this, we're getting pretty low.
You prefer, I guess I. You know, I guess prefer at the 500 or the 800, or which one's a better, I mean, worth the money?
Well, we usually do both. Yep, and we also done before the 250 because the towns like it, because it's softer and easier to work with. Don't offer it. But we would get both because the SC 500 works really good for just regular patches. The 800 is a little more, the oil's different in it is what the difference is. You're dealing with different oil. 800, we've been using it because we haven't had the plant going. We've been using that to fill in our culvert patches. So that way it's got the smooth transition for the time being till we get material in it. I'm asking for both materials.
Gotcha, okay.
In 500 and 600.
We can't run this ourselves.
You guys let us, we could.
Huh?
If you guys allowed it, we would.
Was it cheaper to buy it or make it?
And we're gonna run over to Massey to get it too, right?
Correct.
And I guess the other question would be, are we in a position to run it? You know, we haven't ran all year.
What I got told is ready to run. We just gotta hook the compressor up to it, fire it up.
Any testing or anything that needs to be done that we haven't done this year that might swipe us?
I'm not aware of any testing this year that we have to do. We didn't run enough tonnage through it last year to have a test.
You have everything on, next to it, you have everything you need. Twice.
We just call the oil company, get the oil. As far as the rock, if we don't have the rock, we can get it from Haas.
So we're comparing apples to apples here. I just pulled up the SC 500 that we did make. Our cost was $81.57 a ton. With this, their price per ton is cheaper, but we're gonna have to add in the haul charge as well. hauling it from their plant to our pit.
And you think that cost has got, what it's gonna take to, well, that's gonna be hard to say, but what it's gonna take to get it up and going and then again, shut it back down and is there anything, is there stuff to that? Put it back down, clean it up, all that. I mean, is there more to that? I know or we know.
Well, when they, after they're done each day, they usually run a cycle through it and get most of the material out of it. So if we decided to run that, there wouldn't be nothing extreme unless something happens to break, but you know, the plants break.
We have the manpower.
We just take a day and dedicate the day to run the material through. It'd probably be 2 different days because you're gonna have, well, it might even be 3 different days because we would run, if we ran our own, we'd do a 250 mix, we'd do a 500 mix, and we'd probably do an 800 mix. Whereas if we went to Monarch, there'd be just probably a 2-day deal because you'd run a 500 mix and an 800 mix.
Well, sounding like what comes back into our fund where we're at with this deal right here, we're better off to run our own stuff. Like, quick math and what numbers were provided. And what chart or Sky can give us, you know.
Number what would go back into the fund, I guess.
Right now, we charge $20 per ton that's run through the plant, so.
That $81 that you said, I mean, the 20 of that is,
That's also included in that.
that's included in that 81.
So if we run 3 mixes and we do about 500 each, you're looking at $30,000 coming back to the plant.
I'm leaning. Justin's good with it. You got it.
If you're good, I'm fine with it.
Where's Mark's plant now?
County line. Yep.
I mean, my thought, even if we only run it for this and next year we still get a better deal to purchase blacktop. I mean, I think we're foolish to just let the thing sit there and rust and.
Yeah, then you run it and whatever bugs may be in it for next year, we can run it now.
Oh, right. At least it's not sitting for a whole nother year and next year we go, hey, we want to run this much through it. Maybe something comes up. At least it's being used.
Making that into a motion to run the blacktop plant?
Yeah, I'm making it into motion. Heck with it. I'll hang my hand up.
Second.
Let me get up on the table and hang a rope down from a beam or something. Find out if I'm right or wrong.
Just doing that for patch mix. So
Yep. Patch mix.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Opposed, carries. So you have a skid steer purchase.
Second.
look through this already, or you gotta look through it yet?
We'll go down together, Kurt.
I think we should run it if we can.
Pretty happy to meet you.
I'm not here to make any, I'm here to make county happy and says county tax dollars. Hopefully that's what we're doing.
I was gonna try, right?
I really don't care. All about what we have and what we use.
It'll blow up, we'll blow it up now.
On somebody's gonna write something about me somewhere, you know, it doesn't matter.
Phase me anymore.
Why would you want a poly door in your skid steer?
Yeah.
I know it costs $650 for a New Holland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, experiences.
It's not the glass that's expensive. It was like 250, 300 that they wanted to put it in.
Yeah.
Just put the glass back in the door. Never made a poly door. I'm gonna look into it.
You just can't use it on it because you'll scratch it all.
You gotta get.
But if you take a nice polishing compound with a buffing mill, it'll be just fine.
Get it back out.
Yeah, you get majority of the scratches out of it.
I'll keep that in mind because mine.
Yeah, yeah, try it out. What the guy just do out here? Take care of it.
We're going with a track machine, not a hired one.
Yeah, with the reason for going with the track machine is we'd have a backup for the Fecon. Or we decided someday in the future to get another Fecon, we already have the machine to run it. The state gives us plenty of work to the state roads, and then we could also do our county system where we can tan them up on the state and get more done.
So you want a snow bucket and a regular bucket?
It'd be a snow bucket and a tooth bucket. We got, our regular buckets are good, so the tooth bucket comes in play when we're digging out. You don't have a excavator out on the job. The tooth bucket will help you peel out the blacktop, or whether it's a joint or a culvert.
The T86, that's just regular high flow. That's not the super flow model.
Just regular high flow. I did get a number from CAT. They were 122,000. But for the same horsepower machine, they were 122. The next closest size machine they had was 75 horse. They kind of changed their sizes up quite a bit.
You need the buckets too, and
The tooth bucket would be great for, like I said, tearing all blacktop. Then you wouldn't need to bring forks with you. You just run the bucket. The snow bucket, reason that's on there for winter time when we're out cleaning off the bridges. When we get an amount of snow, we only have one snow bucket for one machine. So then you could run state and then county system instead of taking 3-4 weeks to just taking care of.
the snow buckets like a box, like one of those box blades.
I mean, yeah, I thought he had a picture. Maybe it was.
They're not looking far enough.
Yeah, it might not be in there. Is there a picture in there? Yeah, last page.
I didn't get that. Sorry.
It's just a
No, we don't have
big
it.
high bucket.
No, our last page is the Wacker.
Oh. Well,
So it's just a higher volume bucket.
essentially just wider and taller.
Just the,
It will not be used for dirt.
Lightweight.
Yep, no dirt, nothing else, just for snow.
oh, yeah. Okay. You know, I've been watching. That stuff is all over online.
Price range, you mean, or?
Well, those types of buckets and attachments and snow pushers and
Brother makes this stuff.
everybody and their brother makes it, and everybody and their brother seems to have a used one for sale.
Like,
So,
look instead of,
I mean, maybe before you purchase the bucket part of it, you might want to look around and you might be able to buy something for. That's what you want, you know what I mean, what you're looking for.
yeah,
You might be able to buy it way cheaper.
so that's why,
Okay.
that's why he's got JP attachments on here from Minnesota. That was another sourced number. He looks for a tooth bucket and a snow bucket.
And if you're not opposed to buying a used one,
If they're in
I
good
mean,
shape.
they're out there.
If they're in good shape. We gotta factor in the time to look at the piece of equipment too, charge that. So we don't waste the dollars.
Oh, I get what you're saying too.
I guess if you guys approve a bucket today, we can do some more looking before we do to buy a new one, then we could have more eyes on
If you
something.
find one cheaper, so be it.
Mhm. It'd be less than that, it'd be 22, especially because they're bringing both buckets.
Yeah. Yeah, $4,000, 44 inch. It's 20 or 30 delivered.
So what's the Bobcat extra warranty listed out here? What's that about?
I'll give you 1 second. I don't know. Missed in the packet there. Eric was putting this together for me. I could call him and get a little more information on that. I think the 12 months, the extra 1,000 hours, I think that's an add-on.
Likewise and stuff, they're similar. I've compared capacities here for what it has, but we don't really say on the John Deere. Let's sit on the bottom, yeah, but I'm assuming they're all high flows because you're gonna want to run.
Yeah, they're all spec'd. Like on the top, 3 skid steer options were each associated model. With the 100 horse, asked for the extra light and the poly door option, bucket 96 snow bucket. And with the high flow, he doesn't have high flow on there, but that's what, was of each manufacturer. If we go with the John Deere one, that machine could have potentially 3 to 4 weeks unless we ordered one and then it's 3+ months. The Tractor Central has one coming that we could get. Packer on hand. And the Bobcat didn't get a whole lot on that. He didn't get availability on that because of the difference of 15,000 just the machine.
I look at the John Deere quote. Because I'm not sure I understand what we look that.
Three, there's.
That's too far.
Like everything has been.
Three.
It's great. I used for some appreciation, so.
So with no attachments, it's 88,681.
It would really end up.
Standard with a buffer. It's also included in the cost.
Experience with the whackers.
Not.
I think they're more fairly new.
They are newer.
Yeah.
I don't know much about them.
With them, but I don't know.
I know.
Oh, yeah, I know the name's older, but I think 100 horse or whatever. Photo is usually cheaper too, but they're hit or miss.
You know, every one of these, I run with a lot of farmers and they all have pretty much every one of these. And they all complain about every,
Yeah, there's everything.
guy loves it and the next one.
There's no difference in trucks and cars.
Yeah, it's the same thing. All brand loyalty stuff.
When we bought our last one, we bought a New Holland just because I'm like, seems like every one of them breaks. So I'm gonna buy the cheapest one I can because that seems most reliable. I don't know. I got that one I bought a couple years ago for 40 some new, but that was a track. I have no clue what their track one.
What is your recommendation, Justin?
Based off my recommendation, I prefer the John Deere. Really good luck. Another guy's recommendation was to try the Whacker. My recommendation. John Deere, that's me.
I think the John Deere is you got Sheldon, you have.
Indoor, if they ever
First
close
like
Sheldon, you got Cameron, yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna do both. I mean, every now and then I hear
Deere
where
is a part of
Sheldon
the
they
thing
close,
too,
but
but no.
When we ran into where Sheldon won't have it, they can either have it the next day or if it's immediate need, we run over there and grab it.
those
Well,
times.
the John Deere would probably be cheaper than the Whacker if you knocked off the extended warranty.
The extended warranty is not included on the front page.
Right, it's in the packet.
Yeah, in the package. So it is, the John Deere is about $4,500 more approximately.
541.
It seems like it's out for another 1,000 hours.
Worth it.
Yeah. I don't know about. John Deere guy just shows up at our shop and says, hey, your skid steer's throwing a code. Let me go look at it. We don't even know it. He just shows up at the shop.
Yeah, I mean, in
It's all integrated. Yeah.
whether
I
we're,
guess my next question, are you gonna hit 2,000 hours on that machine? This here's a 4-year, 3,000 hour plan, correct?
it would be 4 year, yep.
So you get 2-year, 2,000, but are you going to hit? You get another 2 years to use up your hours, I guess, in a sense, to go up to a max of 3,000. Is that, how many hours do we put on the year?
So our John Deere we got now, we've been keeping it out of the hot mix and we've been primarily either just moving dirt, working some culverts and then feed-conning with it. The primary sole reason for this machine would be to get it out on the blacktop jobs, more millings, more culvert patches. It can also do the feed-con work. So this is gonna take place of the old workhorse, the old 7810 Gale. Next year, I'd say we could put a fair amount of hours if we move forward with the P project. And then 27, when that M job goes on, there may be plenty of county maintenance to do with that machine.
The one thing that's not on the John Deere one, like some of these others, so maybe it's on the front, Lexon. That door.
Well, I'm not sure if that's a standard option with those, because our John Deere we got now has it on it.
And extra lights, was that a standard option on the John Deere? Cause one of them had a lot of extra money for the light. Safety lights and all that, or are you guys gonna have to add that type of stuff on after you get it? I mean, you know.
I can give him a call quick, but he should have had all the lights options on it. The nice thing with the John Deere is he also checked,
It comes standard with the light package. The John Deere does.
all about the door.
It should come standard, which I don't see it, but being in the business I am, you'd say forestry package on it, putting a fee count on it.
Liability status.
Yeah.
That includes.
Yeah,
package.
it adds 8 grand. That much.
Yeah, bumper. And bracing, and then again to your boots for your.
Yeah, cause you're in the woods with it. It's a forestry package. You're putting a feet on. Down in the brush.
Keeps the shit out. So it's like a cage.
It protects, they put a lot more protection on the machine to protect the hoses and the whole.
Is that already
It's got a,
kinda on the Bobcat?
I didn't see it on none of these, the forestry package, which forestry package covers the door. That automatically comes with a power cable.
I'm assuming these all have backup cameras and that kind of.
Yeah, that's standard.
Yeah,
thing
they
now.
So they don't work. Mine's not working.
You gotta put backing in the stuff.
I can back into a 2-foot sonotube. They're pretty hard. Just takes a little. You get to the camera that way. I probably did back it up.
I'm sure your machine has the forestry.
Nope. It's the door right now. Let's go forward.
No, how do you get it insured?
Well,
My insurance won't even, when I ordered the machine, they won't insure it unless I have the funds.
I have the quote and I told them what I was doing. But I mean, it does have.
Another
Tie
thing,
down bumper is there, but
another option on the Bobcat, and I'm just trying to craft that, they put a super filter. No, if it's neat.
Super full, that is 2 more gallons.
it is too much.
If
you want-
It's saying
If
6,
you want super flow, legit super flow, you gotta go with ASV because 50 gallons a minute.
but they're giving it 6. Another 20%. Not quite.
What are you guys thinking? Well, my recommendation is if we get the buckets, don't through the dealer, get the buckets from the JP attachment. You know, if you look at that, I mean, hopefully they'll deliver both buckets for the 435, not per bucket.
Right.
So then you're getting the 2 buckets and
Split the delivery in half for each
if you
one.
look at any of the other buckets, they're
Bobcat
3
alone was
grand.
over 6 for the
Right.
2 and 5 for over 5 for the year.
Yeah, John Deere was a little better. But
6. You save 1,000 that way.
We actually save a little bit on the machine, but not.
The difference between the GP attachment bucket and the John Deere bucket, though, is the teeth are replaceable. That's the difference. Instead of, and well, new teeth on, you just pin them, put new ones on, put the pins back in. That's the difference between the two.
on which one?
The John Deere one versus the JP bucket. The JP ones are welded on,
Okay.
and the John Deere one, it is pinned on. Yep.
Just have one of the guys in the shop weld you a tooth bar,
There you go.
like a tractor bucket.
Yeah, I don't see a total here on the Bobcat page, but I'm assuming by the time you put all these add-ons on here. Or was that 104 on the front with everything?
Oh, 104 is just the machine, no attachments. So the attachments plus the machine, you're over 110.
Here.
Oh, you added it up. Hmm.
It's. The depth too, Justin?
They should be, yeah.
Yeah, they're deaf.
Have to be over what, 70 or 75?
I think 75 is the cutoff.
Are you opposed to getting a quote on a New Holland?
I
I mean, Swiderski also sells them, that's why I'm asking.
think individual got the quote on it. The visibility is less versus the other. I think that was his concern, the visibility. That's why we did not.
Yeah, you're pretty reliant on their camera. Besides, the greatest.
Yeah, and you got guys walking around you when you're out there. That was.
I don't know if there's a better, but I'm just staying from mine. It's,
So his notes here, for the pros would be John Deere would be offered the service local. And got one and they test drove it as a visibility. His pro for the whacker, easy to work on. There's no drive oils to change in the hubs. And it runs all through the hydraulics, so there's no oil to service on the drive hubs. That's they got. And then for the 70-10 Gale, he's predicting to get between 15 and 20,000 with no bucket for the machine. It's a prediction.
and what was that last one?
Our 70-10 Gale.
Okay, they do it sell it. Sell it to Forestry.
I was thinking that too. Yeah. Or you use it for just more.
Yeah, Forestry, aren't you?
Yeah, forest or Walton brush trails, I think.
Yeah.
All right, any more discussion on it? There's enough in the equipment fund, right? Ain't gonna hurt us?
You'd probably not purchase something else for a while. Depends on what we come in at the year end here after the job and whatever else is going on.
Well, it would help if you sold the old one.
Yep.
How do we have to go, if we sell that to another department, do we have to go? Does that have to be offered to the public also?
No, not if we sell to another county entity. Won't need to.
Seems like that's right. That's gotta go to forestry, then property if they go that route.
She ain't gonna work for what they wanna do.
I'm not sure, excuse me. I'm not sure if forestry says high flow or not. If it's not high flow, they could run it off that old Gale, but if it is high flow, it wouldn't work. I don't know.
Think
Specs.
I don't remember if this was high floor. I don't think it was.
Would like to think not because it's just a 2-blade head, but I don't know for sure.
Is this something that maintenance needs? I know. The reason I'm asking that is about a year ago, maintenance asked for a new skid steer.
One of the track.
Is that where that was coming from? So the one they have is actually reliable. Is that what I'm hearing?
One they had.
It's just fine.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
I can tell you that they are going to be requesting a skid steer in their budget.
Yeah.
Because they say that the one they have is old and tired and too small.
Moving bleachers around at the fairgrounds, I think.
But I think there's more that they could do with it. They say that they could do with it, that they can't because of the size.
Anybody wanna make a motion to?
I just wish I'd got these discounts. But
Well, what are we gonna do with, I mean, there's a lot of layers to this onion here that we're looking at on these bids. We're gonna have to get specific here. And you need both buckets. Well,
Like
the
both.
John Deere one, you only have the snow. Okay,
On the front page, John Deere, the John Deere line, second from the bottom, John Deere 84-inch tooth bucket. It says not specified on how teeth are fastened, but he got the answer before we came to the meeting, and it is a pin tooth. That's a 2619. And the CDI snow bucket. That's 2,700 to John Deere. So the question of the matter is, you gonna let us go with the bucket that we can change the tooth, or are we just gonna get a bucket that's got welded on teeth?
bucket as well.
Yep.
Do I have any other buckets that you could swap in and out?
So we got other buckets, just none with teeth, and the teeth, we don't have a tooth bucket for a skid steer. We don't have a tooth bucket at all anymore.
No, the weld-on ones, those are just a solid tooth. They don't have the interchangeable.
Yep. No, they got the tooth is welded there, and then the bit slides on with a pin that wedges between the two. So you just knock the pin out, put the new tooth on.
That's all I have.
well, the problem is if you only get one bucket for VAP, I'm assuming you're still gonna pay the same probably delivery fee.
Yep.
Anything you could do on these teeth. You ever hear of Hoover? Hoover done by Owen Withy, all they do is skid steer buckets and attachments. And they Hoover metal. And they manufacture them there. Done by Curtis Owen. It's end up being any cheaper, but
A little closer.
sometimes a lot of this stuff, even at Swiderski, is made by them. And they just have their markup, but they will still private. And they make you one with replaceable teeth for the same or less. That's it.
If that's the case, if you guys make your motion, recommend, or allow us to buy a bucket, but search around, and we're not gonna go and buy a $4,000 bucket.
I think make the motion to up to the John Deere bid, and if you can find a better bucket for less somewhere, you'll be, I think you'd be happy with the Hoover, the stuff I've seen, a lot of farmers that are happy with, they last forever.
Yeah, we're open to saving money too.
We have the bid, so we really can't.
Yeah, being it's on the,
It's on the agenda. We have the prices in front of us. We gotta approve what's in front of
we can approve the machine bid and just up to so much to spend on attachments. Not,
us. Yeah,
We can look around.
but you know, we got the numbers in front of us. So.
and then he can buy what he wants to improve the machine without the attachments. And give
Because,
him-
yeah, the attachments would be under the. Oh, you know.
Yeah, they need
So-
quotes.
But the machine itself, so we gotta decide on a machine here. There's three in front of us.
What were you saying about the forestry package? I mean,
Well, normally, I mean, I run CAT, but it's a forestry package that is required by my insurance company, from VCon.
I don't necessarily know if our other John Deere has that package on it.
It does, but
I know it's got the polymer window, it's got the 360-degree lighting and backup camera, all that stuff. Doesn't have a bigger bumper on the back.
it just like, the forest package, it protects all your lights. Protects all your hoses. There's extra stuff around so sticks can't get into your hoses and it's the package that goes with it, but. I mean, if that's what we're gonna use it for, it should have been put on the last one. But we didn't have the feet. We bought the machine last time before we had the Fecon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a big. Majority of our work is in the ditches. I mean, you do around trees.
Does it add any more protection for the individual operating the machine?
Yeah, because it's got different side windows and stuff. I mean, it does. Forestry packages, $8,000 extra. If any of you guys have ever run a Fecon, takes what, about 3 minutes for that head to quit spinning?
Mm-hmm.
At least it's swinging. On the front page, it has 88,000 and then it's in the quote, Justin, it's 99.
That's with the bucket. The standard bucket that comes with it.
Yeah, that and the extended warranty.
Yeah, which, I mean, you're looking at. Was 27.75 approximately for 28.75 for. With per year for the extra warranty. I don't know, $800 a year.
Well, one big difference though goes from 88,681 to the actual statement from Tractor Central. They have it at 91,3 unless there's a discount. It's for the
Yeah.
machine. It's up almost $3,000. Out of whack here. 2,700, I guess it jumps up.
91.3 includes the two bucket, I think, like the 88 plus the 26.
Yeah.
It's the 91.3.
It's because we did the attachments as a line item and not the machine. The machine, you just get a machine, it will not come with an attachment.
Right.
That's the exact number from the bucket.
So if we approve the machine and the extra warranty, it would be 88,681 and 57.66. Then gave you the problem is Jerry's talking about this forestry package. How do we? You want that forestry package, what do we gotta do? Go back to every one of these and ask them if it's available and what the cost is?
It would, yeah. And putting the forestry package on it, if that's what we're using it for.
It'd be a backup to the one.
R series. Looking at the hubbies this should fall into, so like where my back arms attached, it's just a straight shot here down. I feel nice for the build up and stuff. Right there, a couple spots where the hoses are exposed for you. I think, and then cab needs to be, isn't sealed.
Do we wanna do that forestry package, being this will be a backup to the other machine? Just asking.
I would personally recommend it.
Everybody wants to drive the new stuff, not the old stuff. What's you guys' recommendation?
So if this machine they got coming doesn't have the forestry package, we're gonna wait 3+ months to get a machine if we have to order it.
Soon do you need it?
Depends on the day. I mean, we could use it next week even. We got other older skid steers. But one that's on continually money.
And so when does the John Deere able to,
3 or 4 weeks is when it should be arrive. They already ordered.
Everybody thinking?
Well, by the time you do the forestry package, you're almost up to the price of the Bobcats, and now you're gonna have to get.
Bobcat is listed with all the additional.
No,
Just the 3/4 inch forestry doors, $4,800.
that was extra on top of the 104.
99 for the skid loader. I'm assuming we're probably not gonna focus.
Just a thought, I guess, and again, don't want to complicate it here, but I was just asking Justin about this too, that I mean, when you go to you guys know, obviously you know this, so you go to the forestry, these heads on these, it's pretty hard on your, equipment. You'd rather just stick with having the one machine that has the forestry head, not have it be able to go between both two machines, to beat up two of your machines, as opposed to beat up one of your machines. That's something I mean, the reason that I never really wanted to even do the forestry, we rented them typically when the state had work. Because I didn't want to beat up my equipment, because you guys know how hard it is on equipment, right? Rather just stick that to one machine and not have, that goes to that machine, this other one, you just don't have that machine too.
I agree. An older piece of equipment probably should be going and doing that, not the new, but eventually the new is gonna become the older.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing.
As soon as you put the package on, like he's saying,
Right.
then everybody's gonna wanna use this one for the forest.
It could be, maybe this is the one you set up the right way for it all, and then the other one, maybe is one you switch out, soon too, and you have one that you don't put it on maybe too, so yeah, it could be, you can do it too.
You can always say, well, this one only has the 1/2 inch door, so don't be going running the Fecon on it. Rock will go right through it.
I'm waiting on to make sure that the John Deere's come with the poly door. He's reaching out to Tractor Central.
You wanna come back to this then?
Yeah, we can. I'm fine with that. That way we can at least keep moving and.
Yeah. We'll come back
Ask him
to.
about that forestry thing too. Hopefully it goes back before we. There you go.
Yep. Okay. 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 Yeah, I just got a summary copy. Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll make sure that's known. All right, talk to you later. Yep. Okay. Okay. Good. Bye-bye. All right, so he couldn't get a answer on if it had a poly door or not. The whacker does, it's on the line item here. The copies he made for us did not have the total breakout thing. So it may be $2,000 to $2,400 more for the door. If that's the route we have to go. If it does not have that, it do not have forestry packages.
Yeah, you said, somebody let's say 2,400 more. For now. Is that something you could do after?
Yeah, we can order that after the facts. The door, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, just have that.
Yeah, take 2 seconds to change.
Yeah, we can order the door after the facts.
I'm assuming probably gotta get it from John Deere. It's not something you can change.
Well, our Gale, our. We can shop around, if it doesn't have it, and we can go with the John Deere, the Gale. We went to an aftermarket company and they had poly doors. It took a little while to get, but we got an aftermarket one.
You gotta do a lot of changing and stuff to get the right one from John Deere and the wiring for the windshield wiper and everything. I'll probably just plug and lift it up the hinges and plug it in and stuff, you know.
Stuff though, you tell them what you have and then.
Instead.
You have any equipment that has the electric pin controls, like your 14-pin or 7-pin or anything like that?
I think that John Deere has some kind of pin, but
It should be the 14-pin. That's only 7, so you would need an adapter.
so right now, into getting the connectors for that for our profiler. It's right now, that and the broom, we just got the wire run through the door and you shut the door and it sits in the seal. We've looked at putting that connector on so you can put it on the machine and operate through the controls of the skid steer.
Should come standard with the.
Well, I'm just saying Bobcat's 7, they sell their own special harness. Yeah,
Oh.
adapter to go to 14.
Oh, I didn't know there was a difference. I thought they were all universal.
The 14 or 7. Cheap.
Is there any recommendations we could sit here and want to make a motion? He gave us his recommendation. They tried the Whacker Newson machine out though, Justin.
Yeah, they went and tried it out. So when we got them signs for rent a flash for that railroad detour on 40, we went and picked signs up for that. And when they went and dropped it off, they went and stopped at the Rib Lake dealer to try this machine out. There was no complaints by the one who operated it. Got more pros to the John Deere than the Whacker. The Whacker says it looks like it's easy to work on and the drive hubs are oilless. So, well, no oil to change them because it's through the hydraulics.
If I got my math right, I think I got my motion ready.
Okay.
It's gonna be a long one. My motion is to purchase the John Deere skid steer plus the extended warranty, which my total comes to $94,447. And up to $2,400 to spend on a polycarbonate door. and up to $5,320 to spend on buckets that he needs from wherever he feels is the best option.
Got that, Connie?
I got it written down here. Yes, I do.
I will see if somebody wants to second it.
I'll second that.
Well, that was from Tractor Central, by the way.
Local.
Okay, any more discussion on it? You want it read back to you?
I know what I said.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
I-
Opposed? Carries. Next, we have an update on the highway worker one position.
Are you happy now?
We moved on. And if you got any update on the highway worker, or,
Oh, no, do you want me to call Human Resources?
yeah, we kind of wanted an update on what's going on with it, if we had a bunch of applicants or not.
Don't do that. Human Resources does, but I can see if she's here.
Maybe we can come back to it because we have an update on the next one too.
Oh, I know, there's nothing for Commissioner.
Then next we have approval of the budget report. Any major ones jump out, Sky?
No, I made some slight changes to the projected expenditures and revenues, but, overall, nothing's changed. One, on any of them. I project, even though we're gonna be, we know we're gonna be over budget in admin, that overall we'll be right at our budget amount. Oh,
You need a minute to go through them? There any question on the budget report? We'll move on. Is there any out of county travel?
Yes.
And then
yeah.
To approve the budget report? Motion to approve the budget report? Alex? Second?
Wait and see if Jim was still.
Go ahead, John.
Second it.
More questions on it?
I get to look at them again.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Any out of county travel?
Yes. In October, there'll be a CHEMS conference. 2 employees will be reimbursed through the state. We're looking at sending 3. Total costs with the registration, meals, lodging, and equipment would be $1,220. That's with, there will be reimbursement to that too.
Motion to approve the out of county travel? Like, second?
Second.
More discussion? None, all in favor, say aye. Coming down.
She doesn't have time. But she says there are 3 Highway 1 applicants, 2 Commissioner applicants. She would like to stress with the committee that those are strictly the number of applicants. They're not necessarily qualified. That would need to be determined in sitting down with Highway Department.
There's 3 highway workers and 2 for the commissioner. Everybody hear that on that?
How does that process work when someone? What's our vetting process? You know,
So human
going to committee chair, department
goes
head.
to the department head or the direct supervisor, like in HHS, each division lead gets to look over the applicants.
But Jocelyn needs to look over the applicants with the human resource.
Yep, and doesn't she usually like email them PDFs to you or something?
I don't want to ask too many questions because we're gonna end up needing a closed session, so. But so you go through them with her and make that assessment as to who might deem being worthy of a interview.
Yeah. Yes.
And did you have any out of the last two rounds that you came to a consensus?
The last two rounds, when we, as far as when we recently hired somebody or,
No, there was an ad out for Highway Worker One and we keep reposting. Was there anybody in those applicants that were worthy of an interview?
I thought we potentially had one. And,
Relay that to HR?
yes.
Any more questions on that? All right, now you can give us your report, Justin. Commissioner's report.
So we finished up July there with the mowing and we did some quite a bit of crack sealing throughout the county, a couple towns. And we're transitioning right now to pulverizing D. We had plans on doing some paving today. The weather kind of held us back from that. That would have been on state 40. As far as the report, I want you guys to look at the report here for this. I just want to run through. This is the cost reports for equipment. I'll show you the equipment numbers on the left. I want to just talk about spending money on these pieces of equipment. Just so you guys know what we're talking about.
Which one is that?
It's after the maintenance report. In the landscape, not portrait.
This default report heading on top.
Got it. The one with the really, really fine print.
Yes.
Okay, so truck 41, go across there. Take your finger, look at revenue, you got $7,500. Total cost, it costs us $11,000 to keep that thing running. This is where we continue to talk about equipment being old and generating equipment revenue and spending it on equipment, and we're not just sticking unnecessary money into these things. I mean, this is the water truck, this is a plow truck, it's a haul truck. It also has done some less revenue this year because the amount of employees we've been kind of struggling to keep. So the truck had not run a whole lot for paving. And then you go down to truck 49. That's the water truck. Didn't make a whole lot and didn't spend a whole lot. So that one's looking okay. There's a few others in here. I had another list. And there's plenty in here that make money, but when you got some that are making quite a bit of money versus making the money, then you're struggling. So like 88, it made 14,000. So if you go down to 88, it made 14,700 on revenue. Well, cost to keep that thing going was 12,100. Grand. 2,600.
Some of those Washburn trucks yet, or
Correct.
old trucks?
86, 88, 89.
About 72, the John Deere loader tractor. So one.
Yep. There's plenty to pick out in here. I mean, there's some that do well, like some of the, like if you go down to say 34, truck 34, that's a newer truck. Look at that one, the revenue, or even 32. Revenue on that, you're 23 and 32,000. You have 14 and 8,000 expenditure. I mean, you're twice as much just about as what you're spending. I mean, you're not overhead on it. Tires obviously play a role in that. 27, you're making decent. You're generating funds for your equipment. Well, there's plenty in here that I just wanted you guys to understand what we're looking at.
Back in the day, for a little bit there, it was good for me anyhow. For a while there, operation manager was doing that report, I think you and him might have did it together and you kind of gave every piece of equipment a rating.
Yep.
Like, oh, what was it? I don't remember.
1 to 5.
Or 1 to 5?
Yep.
Would that be simple for you to bring us once in a great while again?
I can update that.
And then maybe you could put your reason for giving it a bad rating behind, like cost to run it. You know, or something behind it, you know, this thing's cost is eating us out of house and home.
Yep.
If that's not hard, it's easy for me sometimes to see that, right? Bang.
Yep.
Than to go digging.
Oh, no, that's fine. I just wanted you to.
This is good. I'm glad you're pointing it out.
Yeah. So I mean, there was, well, hang on here. There's one more I just wanted you to see here. Just gotta find it. Had it. 50, look at 50. So Jerry was out at the shop there, for a township. Springtime, late winter. This truck was in the shop because the box is falling off this truck. Not theoretically, it's cracked right around where the pin, the actual tubing. And this is when we talked about buying a box for it. You know, you're looking at 40,000-50,000 for the box. I think we're okay just managing with the equipment we got now, because we got another truck that we're gonna fix a box on. It's in the same state now. It's only a single axle, but it's used heavily. So that's just gonna be more, we gotta throw into these things, and it takes money to run stuff. I understand that, but we're getting to the point, we have been to the point to where everything's eating our funding versus generating our funding. Midst of all this other stuff we got. So, but yeah, so I can update that list. I have the list still. I can give ratings on these equipments. I
just found it really handy and useful, and probably some of the newer people on here might. Maybe they won't, but
I think it's a good idea. We got some newer stuff to throw in there. It'll help our median number out a little bit.
you got this, let's see here. 6-yard dump truck, 85, yeah.
That one had to go down to International a couple of times, had a bunch of electrical stuff, and there was stuff we couldn't do with it, so it had to get hauled down there, so you got truck time, oh boy, and trailer time to it. Had to be towed in from the road.
Do you want to buy another 333 skid steer?
I've seen that thing.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get away from that. The DEF is what's kicking our butt there.
I think we talked already a couple of years ago, you were gonna have to replace one of those John Deere tractors.
Yeah, we did talk, just last meeting, we talked about it too. We got
It was in the long range plan. I remember when we did one of our first tours out at the highway shop that eventually we'd have to put one of them on the plan to purchase.
and we can get, we got, the old New Holland out there. The hydraulics don't work. We've been to the hydraulics in the back there under the PTO and stuff. We don't run mowers with it because 2 years in a row, we were constantly tearing the thing apart, lifting the cab up just enough to get in there. And it got to a point where you just run the other tractors and use that as the co-type trailer compactor. That's it. So otherwise you're just sticking money into something that's not gonna be worth it.
Most of those mowers all run, like when you do mowing and stuff, they probably a combo. Some's running hydraulic and some are running PTO, depends on how they're set up. Or is everything run off kind of PTO through the hydraulic?
So when we run the discs, the drop down mowers, those run off the PTO, but when we run the drop decks, the 4-foot decks, those run off of a front mounted pump.
Probably like the boom one runs off of.
Yeah, the boom one runs off of front mounted pump. The drop decks and
Okay, gotcha.
the 7 and the 9-foot disc mowers, those run off of PTO.
Shop pickup truck, is that the one that we,
Which number?
17? That's the one we got, kept used here last year or whatever?
No, this is the one we got 1.5 or 2 years ago. That's just the regular pickup. Number 19, that is the F550. That's the big one that's got the service body on it.
Okay. That one's had a little bit of expense go to it also.
They put some steering parts into it.
Okay.
And then there's also, we did set up on it, we put, last year. No, it's just been this year, steering components into it.
Okay.
These were, last month were said to be taken off, but, I asked them to be put back on just so we could go through them. And then
Good idea.
if we're gonna run that list, every so often of meetings, I don't see this having to be here.
This would be a good list for you when you do your county board presentation. Highlight some of these pieces that are sitting more to think they're more to operate than the.
Yeah, I mean, granted that the newer trucks have been run more, but they've been run more and they're still generating good funding because they're not costing money. They're not constantly broke down. Because even if we were running 41, there's chances of that coming in and broke down half the time. I think we only had problems with one truck and it had to do with a relief valve on one of the air tanks. It kept popping. So it kept dumping the air and then it built back up. You know, by the time you get out there, there's nothing wrong with it. I had that, the one, which would have been truck 31, wherever that lands, and it still didn't cost us that much.
More questions for Justin's report? All you had left, Justin?
Yeah, just more so, LEDs starting here. We got some time crunch here with, the plant. We are looking at potentially doing some paving Wednesday. Chip seal going on this week here on 27 North. You can see some of the signs where we're going north. They're gonna be chip sealing that. And then be all done and get that shouldered. And from there, we got forestry work to do. We got some township stuff to tidy up and some more county maintenance going on. Plenty to do.
Any questions for Justin? Here, I'm gonna move on to the consultant's report.
Path around, I know,
I got one quick one if you don't mind. I just saw 284 Diamond Moore attachment.
Yep.
We put a ton of money into that. 16,000, it brought you back 3.
In hoses, having to resurface it, put new steel into it. I'll have to make sure, because we got 2 of those motors.
That boom mower is kind of eating you up too a little bit.
They're getting older, so there's a lot of maintenance that's going into them.
Okay.
So maybe next year when we do more mowing, because we got that one new tractor with the new head on it. Next year, maybe we could
Might have to
look
do
at doing a
mower
tractor
or something.
store or mower all together or one.
Sorry.
so last month, there were some questions about just the cost, so I thought I know we did some of this back a few months ago. We took the Hopkins plan, looked at some of our costs. So I thought that there's more questions on the costs and what is run the plant and that. I thought I'll take the data I had before and we'll kind of update it with some of the data now that we're this year, what we're doing and looking at the future. So what I did is just did a quick summary on the plan to kind of give you some numbers. Again, this is a decision you guys have. This isn't my decision, but you guys asked me to run numbers to help you guys here. And so I'm just trying to give you all the numbers. So you guys, going forward, you have decisions you have to make as you go forward, what you're going to do here. So I'll run through this kind of line by line so you guys understand where these costs are coming from, what they mean, I guess, as you move forward. That top part, a lot of you guys had been on the committee for, 3-4 months ago, saw some of this in the top part. What I did is I ran again. I looked at last year. So the last year we fully ran the hot mix plant. So for 2024, we have the cost of our cost pool. And again, if any committee member wants to come out to highway and look specifically at the cost pool numbers and what goes into this, we can show you all the numbers. But the first top item is the cost that we actually had in our cost pool from last year for the plant. What we had to do, we talked about this before, we had to go in and recreate some numbers because we didn't have numbers in there for some of the labor and fringe benefits for running the plant any other time we spent out at the plant, and some of the bond costs weren't in there. One of the reasons why your fund year by year by year has been growing to the negative every single year for the last 3 or 4 years since you bought your plant is you're not accounting for that in your costs at all. So that's why even all the way up through last year, when you're running your plant, you're running a, $100,000 deficit in your equipment, your hot mix plant fund, is because that bonding stuff can continue to go in and not be accounted for in your pricing of your materials as you ran your plant too. Going back and recreating last year, we had another 211,000 we had to add back in to the other costs that were put in the pool last year. So that puts us at that 1.295 million at the top. The credits coming back into that cost pool from the revenue from equipment and from the product sales is where you price your asphalt. Last year, for the majority of the season, we actually priced the asphalt, or you guys did, at $50 a ton. So that 1.1 million is basically what you created for revenue. And that's the difference between what your actual costs are now that we throw more of those costs in and try to account for just that 1 year of your bonding costs for the plant. And that's where we came up with that number. We brought up the last few months, we've been talking about that $70, $75 a ton. So when you look at that next line item, break even, if you look at what we priced at last year, and again, these are all mostly fixed numbers. We know last year what we did, when we were in the plant. And then you add back another about $12, give or take, to kind of get to a break even for that year. And that's where that $72 came from for when we talked about the numbers for what it was costing us to run the plant last year. As you go down in the notes, then you'll see a couple of things. Number one is that's where I mentioned there, that's not accounting for that deficit you're running in that fund right now. So again, if you want a price to try to knock down your deficit some, you're gonna have to go higher than that. Last year you would go higher than $72. So I would say you probably would have to go to 75 or even higher if you wanted to make up more of that deficit, $80 a ton to start making up that $400,000 deficit in your hot mix fund. That also doesn't account for other costs you're throwing into projects. I know Justin's talked about this quite a bit. When we have these chip funds, if we're gonna put those into something other than asphalt, we can't put it into our asphalt when we're running our plant, then it has to go somewhere else. What you guys have been doing is running some of these gravel lifts. For last year, we ran a gravel lift. We spent over 150,000 on that gravel lift to get back the 75,000 back from the DOT from the chip funds. Again, it was almost like we added another 70, 80 grand in cost to that project, which we probably didn't have to do it. This year, we're not doing a big lift over the whole project. We're just pulverizing the road, relaying it. Again, so we're avoiding those costs this year by actually having the asphalt be offset in the for the price of the asphalt from buying it privately right now. So that again is some of the offset from last year, that the difference in cost based on trying to price your asphalt and then looking at what else are you doing to try to use those extra funds you're getting from DOT for the chip funds. So that's kind of a snapshot of last year. So we go to the bottom now, underneath the line there, you'll see from 25. So this is the difference of what we did this year now. We did ship those funds. We running into that sunset dates for the chip funds. So we had 167,000 in chip funds that we offset our asphalt price. So we have the price of the $55 a ton for buying the asphalt. Top of that, we're also got $167,000. We can subtract off that price too for buying the asphalt through the chip program directly, not having to add any other cost to the project. When you look at that, you're basically picking up that 167,000 in funding this year. Your hot mix price, we go from the 55 to, let's just say, $75. Again, we could play around with a few dollars here and there for these numbers, but that was $250,000. And then because we were able to run on a plant that was only 5 or 6 miles from a project as opposed to 25 or 30 miles that came back to our plant, we probably saved somewhere in $30,000 to $40,000 just in the hauling costs this year for that project. Part of that is with the hauling, you guys, it's not always going to work this way, obviously, but this year it worked really good because we had the plant that close. If we were running out of our plant, we probably would have had to hire, 10 or 15 private trucks along with some of our trucks. And all those costs, again, would have that not only would be more obviously for us to haul the hauling, but also hiring all those extra trucks is where it really drove, drive your price up for the asphalt this year. So when you look at that $400,000, $500,000 in savings, that's almost enough to do a whole other project. We're on a D right now. We're doing a $600,000 project down there. I would say if we ran based on our costs from last year, if we ran that project out of our plant, we wouldn't be doing D right now. So it just gives you some picture of costs that get to that level, how we're trying to run the projects. That's what kind of happens to you. You flip over to the backside, this is again, what I've talked about, again. Just giving you guys a picture, because this is what you guys gotta deal with when you're looking at trying to run the plant and all the other parts that go with it. Is again, we're gonna continue to run into this chip problem, the chip funding problem. We again have more projects that are kind of backlogging up on us here. We gotta get them done, because 26, if we don't get at least some of those, a good chunk of those chip funds used in 26, 27, you have the FTP funds coming from the federal program. You're probably not gonna be able to use any chip funds that year. So then you're gonna be hitting another sunset date again with the chip funding here. So we almost gotta push some chip funding up into next year, some of that up, and you have two different big pots of money for next year. Those can, again, run your plant, then you gotta come up with a whole different decision on what you really wanna do, again, because if you're running your plant, you can't go towards asphalt purchase or anything like that, again, for that. You would have to find some other work, something else to try to use these funds up. The challenge with that is, looking at your budget right now, is where's the rest of the funds, because just trying to start getting caught up on asphalt is what I say right now. You guys have a lot of work in this county you need to do, replacing pavements and getting to that part of your program. If you're not using it for that, if you're using it somewhere else, then that's just gonna reduce down what you're actually doing for your asphalt work and your paving work. So, but that's how it lays out the next 2 years. You got two pots of chip funds we're looking at probably using on both halves kind of a piece. And if we do that, we're not gonna probably hardly do anything probably for our own plant again. So you're looking at very minimal usage if we use that, privately. And you run into the same problem in 2027. You have such a large match on that project with the federal funds. We can't do the work, so the county can't do that work at all. It's all gotta be onto a private contractor. So if it does that, you're putting a lot of your match of your funds that year into that federal program. You're probably only gonna have a small part of it that you can do with your own crews. I'm projecting maybe you'll have 4,000 or 5,000 if, that's still probably if we can squeeze that project down a little bit smaller on the federal program to try to at least get some we can do with your own crews here. So again, you're looking at 2 years here where your asphalt usage out of your plant is gonna be extremely minimal. Unless you, try to do something different with what you're doing, or you find more funds, which I know are gonna be is super challenging right now with all the county budgets and every other county I'm dealing with right now. Funding is getting worse and worse and tighter and tighter. If I see anything right now, I see highway departments going down pretty quickly with what they're being funded right now, even though levels are already pretty low with trying to fund paving and project programs. So I don't want to be super negative here. I just trying to give you guys all the numbers, and you guys have decisions to make and all moving forward. But that's why I want to try to give you a snapshot of where you're at last year, where you're at now this year, where you're kind of going forward here for the next 2 or 3 years based on your program and where the funding is at right now. So I don't know if that's probably a lot of information, I think, and but I want to try to give you just a good snapshot. I know we've been through some of this here a few months ago, but we really hadn't hit more on this year and next year, or the next year after that, kind of too hard. So I want to kind of put it on paper again, so you guys have something to look at, and definitely we can willing to answer more questions on any of this right now. But it's kind of what I've kind of put together as we worked on numbers together to look at, the plant itself, but also projects and where we're going with our program here in the county here is. So I don't know if there's any questions at all you guys have.
The $72 ton that you have for break even for 2020, that include the bond?
Yes. So I was putting,
Where,
if you pull the bond out, which is kind of where you guys have been at right now, because it's one of the reasons your negative balance has been growing in for your hot mix fund right now, is really when you're looking at your costs, you really necessarily hasn't gone into all your numbers here.
right? And so comparing it, I'm assuming you're comparing the $72 to the $55.50.
I'm looking at where you guys got a price to try to start breaking even on while you're running your plant right now with your costs going into it per year. So yes, we're looking at the 72, plus you're not dealing really with the negative balance in your fund. So to try to be somewhere in that range of $75-ish to try to make up even a little bit of that.
Right. No, I understand that.
Yep.
But the $72 that you have there includes bond costs.
For 1 year, for that year, not for
Right.
not for the negative balance. Yep.
Yeah, I understand you talking 2024. Okay, for 2025, you still have the bond cost on top of the $55.50.
You have a bond cost right now because you're not running. So the side of it is what you're getting at is getting hit by your bond cost this year. Let's say, again, I know you guys are going to run it for doing some of your patch stuff right now. if you don't run your plan at all this year, you're getting hit by your bond cost, right? So you're gonna have a negative. So what I show these as of right now, because you own a plant right now and how you're running right now, we have a cost too. So yes, you could say you're maybe saving 400 or 500,000 by doing this right now. But you could take that back down by the 150, 160, 170,000 for your bond cost, because there is a cost right now for not running that plan.
Right. So I'm just trying to get to apples.
Yep.
Right now, my understanding is the decision in the past has been $75 versus $55.50. And it's really not $55.50, it's $55.50 plus the bond cost, correct?
Correct. You have a bond cost that you're not.
Right.
Yep.
So,
It's gonna be another.
so if we add that to the $55.50, what would that number be? So that we're a little closer to apples.
You just take it back down again by pull that back out of that number, then you'd probably be 60, give or take 65, 66, 67, something like that. So, yeah.
Okay.
You take that. So, yeah, you have a cost there. You know, you have a plant you own right now. It's sitting there, right? You're paying for it right now, right? Yeah, I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
That's where the decision, I mean, you have a decision is how you want to run going forward. Because I don't think you necessarily want to sit here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years with a plant you're doing nothing with. Like you guys talked about last month, a little bit about that. I think the decision is going to be, how are you going to operate going forward? Based on all these these issues you have, based on the tonnage, you guys are not putting much tonnage out. And you guys have chip funds that are coming in that you want to pull, do more work. Things like that. Going to try to run a plant, and how are you going to do that based on the costs? Or do you want to get rid of the plant? I mean, that's, it's hard to, you can't, if you want to just sit idle, just like was brought up last meeting for several years, that ain't gonna do any good either, because you're gonna, yeah, like you said, you don't run it at all. It's just gonna get harder and harder to sell it if it is worth whatever it's worth, you got that issue too. So you got to come to a decision on where you want to go in the future, going into next year, the following year. I'm just trying to lay it out for you guys so you have the costs, what's the challenges are for next year, 26, 27, 28. And that's why I want to put it on paper. This is the challenge you guys have. The state funding programs, the federal funding programs, what your budget is, how much you have to spend, you can actually spend on your projects, and how much tonnage are you gonna run through your plant. So, I mean, that's what you have going forward is you do have a cost right now. You guys borrowed for that plan, so you're paying for it every year right now. So the cost against you right now.
So Ron, I think what you're kind of looking for, based on the numbers Bill has on here, figuring that it's based on 12,500 tons of asphalt. So the bond and interest payment that we made for this year is 168,825. So if you divide that by the number of tons, it would be an additional $13.51.
What we need to add to what we paid for the blacktop.
Yeah, what he's saying, because we have that cost regardless. So you add that to the 55.50 that we are paying for, that would be more of a true cost per ton. We have, because we have to make that
Because
payment.
we know how many ton we bought this year. So if you took those estimated costs for 2025, so what the plant would have been, we'd know what we had.
So if I understand right, the $72 from last year, granted, that's not what it'd be for this year, but if we take the 55.50 plus the 13, it's 68.50. So a little closer to the estimate that was given out in the past. So now we're talking about $5 to $10 difference, the $8 difference that was quoted past meeting. Am I understanding that right?
Right, if you incorporate that bond payment. Well, looking at the cost.
Because we have to include it. And if I understand the calculations here, the $72 included the bond payment.
Yep.
Right, but the 55.50 does not. So I'm just trying to get it to where we're comparing.
The only thing is we're not recovering any of that bond funding. through, from our projects, because we're not using our plant. So the actual project costs only take into consideration the 5550. So that bond funding is hitting that cost pool and just sitting there.
Right,
and
but
so
the
we're not
county's still paying that.
Correct, yes, yes.
That's what I'm trying to get at. The money's still going out, whether we use it or not.
Yes.
Now, if you take that 72, the thing public is, so out of that 72, what goes back in equipment fund?
So it would be $20 per ton is what we're kind of making off that. So, we, priced our asphalt, based on actual costs, of the materials. And then, where we actually make our money is adding that $20 per ton for running it through.
And that's included in this, because this is where people are gonna calling us. So I want to make this clear as mud. So people are saying that
That,
money is going back into our fund. Is it really going back into our fund? Or are we just washing it really clean?
there is money going back into our fund. But it's helping pay the operating costs of the plant, like the equipment, the expense of running it, your utilities, your any repairs that we make, that $20 per ton that's what it's used for.
Because I'm kind of with Ron here. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the 72 because if 72 is our costs with bond payment, how can we say we're making $20 a ton that we're putting back into?
So
Really, our cost should be $20 a ton less.
those costs also include depreciation. But it's not an actual expense that's hitting the cost pool. So it's actually, that's money we're making. Just like with our equipment, you can take our profit or loss and add in the depreciation. And that's really what we made in our equipment fund. Because we've already paid for that depreciation because we paid for the, buying the piece of equipment. That's already come out of our fund. So the 2 million or whatever it is that, we paid for that plant, that has already come out of funding. Well, the 1.5 we're paying back.
Did the funding mechanisms change in the last 10 years? I mean, or was it, how did the county operate its blacktop plant all the time in the past and then now? So, was it always not allowed to use county asphalt on state funded projects? Or is that something that's changed recently or?
Been pretty consistent in that program.
That's just for years and years and years and then can't do it. Hard for me to understand.
It's easy to get, lost in these numbers right now, and I agree with the bonding mixed in there too. It makes it a little messier. But I'll tell you, the biggest challenge I see is look at next year, look at the following year, look at the following year. Look at the numbers. It's $500,000 in chip funding. What, you gonna throw that out? What are you gonna do with it? STP money project, you gonna throw it out? You're at that point, because if you want to run your plant, that's a lot of dollars that you're foregoing. Or you're doing something else, which you do something, so that reduces the amount of money you're gonna be doing for blacktop and asphalt work. So that's kind of the decision. So we can get caught up in all these numbers right now. And the challenge is, how much asphalt are you gonna run through this plant next year, and the following year, based on these programs? And I think part of it is that you say that it's, I think maybe the past, you guys, I think some of your numbers were higher in the past. When I would look back to some of the years when I first came here, I looked at, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, and it seemed like there was years you guys had running the 20 some thousand ton range, maybe. So budgets obviously may have been higher then too, and so there may have been a little more wiggle room, costs were a little bit lower, and now as the costs get tighter and tighter, the budgets get smaller and smaller. I mean, it's pretty critical funding here, that's the CHIP program and all that, and so it is. Like I said, we've caught up in all the numbers right now, but going forward, it's a tough path right now based on, and it's not just that, we even talked about manpower and all that too, which is a whole nother issue here too, that I don't think you have the men to run these plants right now based on your manpower and all that too, but it's the funding part of it has gotten, it's gotten stickier and challenging based on your fund levels not being as high, and you want to go and do more asphalt work and replacement work, which you guys need to do here. It becomes pretty tricky the way that funding program is set up, and a lot of highway departments in the state, really don't like that program that have hot mix plants just for that reason, that all that program is laid out, that, counties that have much bigger base, I guess, where they're doing 80, 90, 100,000 tons, which some of the other counties out there that are bigger plants that run that kind of tonnage, you can get by and play around it, you may have other work to do. But when you're in a smaller county and your budget is the size they are, then it gets, very challenging trying to, use that CHIP program based on having your plan too.
Thanks.
And I think that's what got us in trouble on D. I don't know for a fact if that was CHIP funding or not, but there's lift put on there, and I always wondered why that road was just ground and paved.
CHIP funds.
And it turned into I felt that should have been a lot smaller project, and that cost us a lot of money to
We use
redo.
all the chip money for the gravel lift.
Right.
We didn't use all the CHIP money. That's why we had to do what we did with W, because we were not able to utilize all the CHIP money. 150 there, we used 75 down there, and then we had to push that 75 to W, otherwise it was gone. That's why that road is lifted. That's why he was lifted. I mean, that's how we're accomplishing these CHIP funds with this plant.
I can see it for growth. Done somewhere along the way, they don't.
It was 10, 12 years ago. I remember Blacktop Fund, had a lot of money in it. Finance took the money out and wanted the new plant, we had to borrow for it. That was back when Nancy was still.
It was 500,000, if I'm not mistaken.
Quite a bit, yeah.
The version I heard was because they took out the loan. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's the version I heard. That was taken to offset budget somewhere else because of the loan and all the money that was spent on the plant.
But there was enough in there to pay for the new plant, but then they took the money and then now we had to borrow for it. Makes it look.
Well, I won't say anymore. I just want to give you guys, more, into something for discussion as you move forward here as far as just what the costs are going forward. The other thing next month, I should have, pavement management report been talking to you guys about. I should hopefully have that done next month so I can really bring that to the next meeting and kind of go through a little bit on, and that'll kind of give you an idea too of your program going forward. Looking at the breakdown, Justin and I have worked on the projections here for the next several years, and we can kind of lay it out next month for you guys too. Then.
Well, if we run this little bit of blacktop now, that's probably not gonna give you an accurate number to figure out tonnage on the short run like that, is it? Or
A little work like that probably is, and it'll help as long as nothing happens to the plant or any breakdowns, it will bring in some more revenue and it'll help on that side, too. So it's ready to go out there.
More questions for Bill? None, we'll move into the safety report.
House one there. July 23rd. Over the previous PPE, truck inspections, bag alarms, science barriers, DOT tape. Going leaving early, long intersections. Or as a new business, brought in a new hat by Husqvarna. Kind of run through it and see what updates they've done to it. It is a little more expensive, but I don't think it'd be a bad thing to have it. It's got more mesh in it. It's supposed to take more of the impact, considering recent scenarios that have happened. This helmet was not out at the time. There's three options. We're gonna go through the spreadsheet, update it, and then replace them accordingly. We talked chainsaw safety. We did a hands-on last year. As a group, we discussed about taking one or two, maybe three guys with an experienced person to kind of just get them in a smaller group so they feel a little more comfortable. So they can have that one-on-one instead of in the mass group, everybody's kind of timid. Equipment issues, truck 17, they just talked about shop truck staying dedicated for the shop instead of the crew hopping in it and using it. Making sure the guys are cleaning the equipment well. You know, signs, garbage. Sometimes you get busy. It's, you know, if we're running hard paving, there's not a whole lot of time you get back and clean your truck out. You just hop in the next day and go. But after that rush is done, then we need to clean them out. Two-way radios, we talked, so we're having, they don't work that great. They work, but when you need them up in the hills or on B or M, then you have problems with them. So we're gonna reach out and talk to Mike's Repair and Two-Way Radio Services and see what he's about, what the cost is, you know, just kind of see what's available.
What's the sheriff department do with their old radios? Work at all?
You're selling them.
I mean, we did all those, this is before your time, but we asked this question in here when we're spending all the money on the sheriff's department radio upgrade.
Mhm.
If the highway could benefit from it at all, and we were told, no. Worry about it. We have our phones that work when radios don't, so.
A lot of times where these radios don't work, the cell phones don't work either. So like when you're on M North or South or B South, there's no reception, or up on O and F area, there's no reception. I was, at one point in time, I was discussing with the sheriff. Or was it a time when they got big units in there? They're big, so I don't know how that'll fit in them dump trucks. And they're just a single small cab, and you got all your plow stuff in the center console already, so I don't know where we would locate that at.
The two-way radio itself should be able to have new crystals, unless things have dramatically changed since I used it back in the day, but you should be able to recrystal them and put them on what tower you want them to use if it's just the basic radio. So I'm just wondering what they're actually doing with the, and maybe there's way more to theirs because of the computers being involved and everything else in the squad cars, but.
I thought the sheriff said that they were unrepairable, but I mean, they work now, but they break, there's the unrepairable, you can't get parts for them.
You could off Amazon. There's, yeah.
I'm not a radio guy, but yeah.
No dealer is gonna work with aftermarket. It's probably, so we'd have to hope that the mechanics could figure that out.
So yours is a tower issue?
We think it's something to do with the towers, because we got new radios, we still got the same issue.
So you're only running off this tower here at the town,
We got
right?
one here, and we got one up by O&F intersection by Barron County.
And you get up there and you still don't have?
You get some, but it's spotty at times. Just depends on where you're at in the hole.
How big is that tower?
I don't know, it's up on top of the hill, it's up there pretty good. It might be some of the tower for all I know.
Maybe we should have been looking at putting using the other tower as a repeater for you guys or something when we did that. That's where we asked the questions back in the, like I said, before your time. We asked the question if we should have been looking at including highway into that whole radio project or not. Maybe that's a question that still needs to be asked if that tower up there is not cutting it.
See what it's about. We're just having a discussion on that, and we were gonna see what he offers and what it costs, just to see where we're at with him too.
Talk to somebody that they're, yeah, see what they come up with.
And then for the new hire and training, we just discussed feedback from one another about what we could change for getting these guys trained in learning. there wasn't too much that was said that, you know, we got videos, we got check sheets, we go through the skid steers, we go through the loaders, we do a manual driving test. If they got a manual license, we test drive, we do all that stuff, so. As far as the general consensus was, is there wasn't much that we can change. The small tools needs, the conditions and the guarding, there was a couple weed whips out there that, apparently we're missing the guarding, so we're making a decision on either replacing the whole unit or getting a guard for it, because some of this stuff is getting pretty old. There's still more discussion to be had. And then our next scheduled date for keeping safety simple. And that's tentative, depending on what's going on for the construction projects.
Yeah, any questions on the safety report? Next, we'll move into the financial report.
Great, winter maintenance hasn't changed. The estimated financials report, it's June billing, that's actually July billing. A pretty good month. And our year to date is there for you. I updated the, construction projects. We did get our chip money, then, the rest of W, we got the pavement marking bill, so I added that. And so those two projects, are complete. We'll be working on D. No changes with, information there, and then, the equipment fund balance and blacktop plant fund balance are the same as last month. I did not get July closed. Accounts receivable, I don't have any concerns there. Okay, that's it.
Questions on that financial report? Hearing none, is there any committee announcement? Next, we have the, a motion to approve the invoices. I have to go through them.
I could use a minute.
A motion to approve the bills. Any more discussion on them? All in favor, say aye. Meeting date?
Fifteenth, correct?
I got it's 15th, yeah.
Is there a motion? To adjourn?
Second.
Adjourn.